welcome, and I'm going to carry on exploring the just sitting practice today. So we do these three practices that we explore in the Wednesday lunchtime class: the mindfulness of breathing, the metta bhavana, and the just sitting. So Sangha said about the just sitting practice, Sangha founded the Triratna Buddhist movement, that when you just sit, and well, in a way that is true, but I think there's more to, or potentially more to, the just sitting practice. So how does just sitting differ from the other meditation practices? Are we doing basically the same thing or not? Well, in the other meditation practices, the metta bhavana and the mindfulness of breathing, the others that we do at this class, we've got an object of focus. So clearly with mindfulness of breathing, it's the breath. With the metta bhavana, it's the development of loving universal loving kindness. But with the just sitting practice, we don't have an object of awareness or object that we're trying to focus on. In a sense, what we're trying to do is simply sit with whatever is arising in our experience. And in a way, it sounds easy, and in a certain way, it is. You can't kind of get it wrong. You just sit there and you just experience what you're experiencing. But just like the other meditation practice, generally, it's very easy just to get taken off into one's thoughts, into what we call prapancha, proliferation of mental activity, which is generated by, well, what's it generated by? It's generated by what's called the kleshas, or the mental emotional defilements, as they're referred to in Buddhism. So, if there's a state of anxiety, we experience proliferating thought, which is anxious thought. If there's a state of craving, we experience thought that's orientated to craving. So we want to be able to just sit, but in a space which is open and aware, whereby we can just see our experience arising as it is. So it's quite helpful with the just sitting practice to come into the body, to ground oneself, to come into some kind of awareness that's going to help us just to sit with our experience, and to keep that edge, as it were, going. Edge is maybe not the best word for it, soft edge of awareness going. And also to become aware of, well, what is it that's arising in this space of awareness? Another way of talking about that space of awareness, by the way, is the sky-like mind. So we've probably heard of the sky-like mind already, and often comes up when we're teaching meditation as an antidote to hindrances you might be experiencing. So you can just see those hindrances, just like things like clouds coming across the sky. So what arises in our experience is the six senses, including the sense of the mind. The six senses, perceptions, feeling states, all these things that are arising in our experience. And we want to be able to just sit back from them, take a step back and just see them as they are arising, and not become ideally attached to anything that arises. And last week, we were looking at thought and how thought is also something that arises in experience. We often treat thought as something special, and we get very easily hooked into a stream of thoughts. But from the Buddhist point of view, and the meditation practice point of view, thought is no different to any other part of our experience. It's simply something that is arising in the space of awareness. And if we can see it as such, is much easier to let go of and just see it passing through. So we were having a look at this sort of non-personal nature of thought, something that we normally consider to be very personal, very me, very mine, my innermost thoughts, almost to the point where they seem to define us, or our sense of self, as being just something that's arising, no different to sound, no different to sensations. So I think today we'll do a practice that just takes in all of the six senses. We'll start by dropping into the body with some body awareness to get us grounded and open up the space of awareness. And then we'll just have a look, as you like, round the senses. It's those ones that are sort of operating at the moment in our experience. Doing that as an exercise can be useful in that as we pass from, say, the awareness of sound to the awareness of thought, we can see that there isn't really any difference between those in terms of something that simply rises in awareness. And that can lead to, well, a disattaching from our experience. Not in a negative sense, not in an alienated sense, but in the sense of not getting caught up in the stories that are running through our minds. Okay, so I think I've said enough. Let's do a meditation. So for most people, the best way to come into a non-discursive space of awareness is to come to the body. The body is a great ally in meditation. The Buddha himself was very keen on awareness of the body as being a gateway into deeper states of mind, but also into spiritual insight and awakening. One sutta, he praises awareness of the body and its importance. When we're aware directly in the sensate body, we can't at the same time be lost in our thinking. So you can come into the body in whatever way works for you, or you can follow my lead So noticing where attention is residing at the moment. Usually it's residing somewhere around the head, somewhere with the thinking mind. But it doesn't have to stay there. The fact that it does cling there is really just a habit. So see if we can unhook from the thinking mind and start to come into the direct sensate experience of the body. Using awareness to look for the sensations. We'll start with the face, the eyes, the lips, the jaw. The attention that's been wrapped up in the thinking mind can flow down into the body, down into direct sensate experience. If the thinking mind is particularly loud or persistent, it can be a bit of an uncomfortable transition to come into the sensate body. So just be patient with that. Kind, warm awareness to all of our experience. And gently, by focusing, by looking for the physical sensations, coaxing awareness out of the thinking mind and into direct awareness of the sensations themselves. Sensations in the eyes, in the lips, jaw, back of the head, the neck. So come down through the body, go down, right down to what's called the pelvic floor. Staying with the sensations as we move the tension down through the body. So sensations in the throat area. If there doesn't seem to be much going on in a particular area of the body, just dwelling there in awareness. So it's a bit like at night walking out of a bright room outside into the dark night. Start with our eyes can't see very much. But as they adjust to the light of the outside, to the dark, begin to see more and more. So the same is true with just dwell in awareness, with awareness in a particular part of the body. Patiently. And the sensations in that part of the body can start to emerge out of the darkness. Down the chest, the diaphragm, the bottom of the rib cage. Looking for the sensations there. Coming down to the lower abdomen. The area below the navel. Dwelling in the lower abdomen as the lower abdomen. Looking for direct sensate experience. And coming down to what's called the pelvic floor. So this is an area of skin, triangle, kind of diamond shaped, between genitals at the front and the buttocks, a flat area. See if we can find this. Again, looking for the direct physical sensate experience in the pelvic floor. If we have difficulty contacting any area of the body, we can also imagine ourselves breathing through that part of the body. We can imagine ourselves breathing in through the pelvic floor. It can help to bring any area of the body alive. And taking in the body as a whole, so allowing the awareness to expand And take in more and more of the body as a whole. Notice how sensation appears in the space of awareness. We tend to think about physical sensation as being something hard and solid, but in meditation we can see that actually, what can we? How does it actually appear? Does it appear hard and solid? Or is sensation a bit more like a cloud, a sort of energetic, vibrational cloud? Arising in this larger space of awareness. And if we go to the edges of the body, do we actually experience a definite hard edge to the body? Or is it more like the body in awareness is porous? There's no actual place where we can say the body stops and something else begins. Look quite closely at this if you need to. Even in places where sensation might appear strong, like buttocks in contact with the floor or cushions or chair. Is it just a more intense form of that vibrational energy? Can we really tell where the body stops and what we're sitting on starts? Or is the edge to the body actually just an idea? Not apparent in direct experience. If we had to draw our sensate experience on a sheet of blank white paper, how would it appear? How would this that we're aware of at the moment be represented on a sheet of blank white paper with a pen? Would it be drawn as an outline? If we were drawing our direct experience, or would it be more like a cloud of dots, of dashes, representing vibrational, energetic experience? can we be aware of what seemingly lies beyond the experience of the body? A sense of space, surrounding the body. If there is no actual edge to the body, can we really say that there's an inside and an outside? Or is there just a sense of spaciousness with these so-called sensations arising within that space? We won't take in all the senses because usually there's not much going on in smell or taste, or with our eyes closed in sight, or there are still visual stimulus on the inside of the eyelids. Staying with the space of awareness, attention to sound. Sounds of traffic, noises within the room, also sounds within the body, gurgling with the digestion, sounds in the inner ear, those sounds arise in the same space of awareness as bodily sensations. Trying to hear those sounds without any labels attached. Just the pure, raw nature of sound. attention to external sounds, but also to sounds that are seemingly inside the body. Gurgling of the digestion, or sounds in the ear, in your ear. You might even be able to hear the heartbeat. Waves of sound passing through this space of awareness, rising and falling away. All of this sensation, sound, seen and known in awareness. And if we're able, aware of thought arising in this space of awareness. Attention to space where thought apparently arises. Physically up around the head. And noticing that there is space, and then something arises in that space, something we call thought. Internal dialogue, images, whatever. And no different to the sounds of traffic, thoughts just arise seemingly out of nowhere and then very quickly pass away like wisps of cloud across the blue sky of awareness. Come from nothing, disappear into nothing. We don't know what they're going to be before they arise. And they disappear almost as soon as they've arisen. We have no control over this, although it appears that we do. Or do we? With thoughts just like sounds in the street, or sounds within the body, simply come into being and pass away. And just like sensations in the body, or sounds, they are seen, known, in awareness. You also see that what sees and knows experience remains after the experience comes and goes. And is essentially untainted by whatever experience arises and passes. And awareness is there, whatever comes next. Resting back into this spacious, knowing awareness. does thought know anything? Is it thought that is known from and by awareness? Simply something arising, passing away in this aware space. And gently, in your own time, starting to draw the meditation to a close. So we'll break for 5-6 minutes, come back about 5 past, and for those of us who can, and we'll have our discussion.